Hi, this is Mark Snyder with Worshipsong Band. I'm here to show you a capability for MIDI automation that we've added to version 5. So what MIDI automation is designed to do is to allow you to output MIDI commands to anything else in your worship setup. So this can be lyric display capability, this could be lighting control software, this could be instrument patches. It could be like something like OnSong running chord charts synced to MIDI. So there's really no end of things that you can do to tie your service together and to automate it. The reason we added this to Worshipsong Band is we've seen people really wanting to use these apps for multi-track playback and worship, but not wanting to really do the complexity or the cost or the time investment that you need to use for something like Ableton in order to do this. There's no doubt you can do more with a program like Ableton than we can do with this, so we're not claiming to do everything that can do. But if what you want to do is automate lyrics, automate lighting, and those kind of things, there's a good percentage of that you're going to be able to do with this capability. So I'm going to show you by playing this song, Build My Life. And so what I have running here on the top left is Worshipsong Band. On the bottom right, I have Proclaim lyric presentation software running in preview mode. So this is the same thing that Proclaim would do if it were projecting into your services. So I'm going to hit play here. Turn those cues down. So you notice how the lyrics switched in right there. And how they changed when it hit that part of the song. That's all programmed into Worshipsong Band with MIDI. Now I'm going to program a jump right here. Now watch what happens. So what I've done is when it hits the end of verse 2, it's going to jump to the chorus. This second chorus here. Now watch when the lyrics come in here. So the lyrics came in before the section because it knew it was cued. So you can actually make the lyrics switch when you want to, not just when that audio plays. I'm going to jump to a bridge here. So my lyrics are perfectly automated to match whatever I'm doing as I jump around the song and loop or whatever I want. I have freedom to move and my lyrics follow. So the way that we set this up, so this works with Proclaim. It'll also work with Pro Presenter. I'm not sure if there are other like free lyric software that will do MIDI, but it may be out there. And of course, you still have your full capabilities within Worshipsong Band for our own lyric and chord displays. But we know a lot of people are using something different. So this will let you sync the lyrics up with that. So here's the way it works basically. So this bar across the top here in Worshipsong Band is our song navigation and flow timeline. So if you right click on this bar, you've always had some stuff you can do here to like pre-set up loops and jumps and things like that. There's a new menu at the bottom here called Section Actions. If I click that, I'm just going to make this bigger here, by the way, so you can see it better. If I click the section actions here, I basically get a view of my timeline with these automation actions in it. And so the way that you program these actions, and these actions can be a lot of things, I'll show you what they can be. The way that you program them is basically you add them to this list, and then you can just read what they are across the bottom. So for verse 1, my actions are send MIDI command, select proclaim verse 1, 0 beats after start. And then I have send MIDI command, select proclaim advance, 16 beats after start. And I can add more actions or whatever I want to do here. I think there's up to about 10 actions you can put on a section. And then so for verse 2, those are the actions. For the chorus, those are the actions. The action is here, send MIDI command. The available actions include send MIDI command. Also, stuff that's built into Worshipsong Band already. You can use, like you can fade in the built-in pads, fade out the pads, switch our built-in lyric backgrounds, set an audio preset, stuff like that. The which is basically which MIDI command you want to send. So if you click this, you get a list of the MIDI commands that you can send. Now this list is defined by you to match whatever the installation of stuff is in your system. And so what you can do basically, this list is this list here, which is what we call our MIDI alias setup. And I don't think you can see that, so let me add it here real quick. Here it is. So this is, I'll make that bigger. This is our MIDI alias setup here. The MIDI alias setup is basically a text file where you define what the MIDI commands are for your installation. So like here we have, I told you I had select proclaim V1. That's set up to be a note on for note 1 with a velocity of 1. Or select proclaim advance, which advances after you're in a section, note on 50 with a velocity of 1. So these commands can have multiple things. So it could be like a note on 4, note off 4, and control change this. You can have multiple things in there. It can be note commands, control change commands, program change commands. And they can go to whichever channel is specified. It defaults to 1. So you can basically route any MIDI to whatever you want using this setup. And there's more documentation on the website for that. Anyway, so that's kind of the built-in MIDI editing. And then this is your section actions here. And then they just get fired as you go through the song, basically. The other thing we can do is we have this MIDI command window here. If you click that, you actually get a list of commands that you can just fire right now. So like at any time I can click this and click one of these aliases, and whatever is defined in that file for that alias will happen. So like if I wanted to set a keyboard patch, I could say MIDI command set keyboard patch and click it, and it would do it. Right then. So I could either program this MIDI to happen during a song, or I could program it to happen whenever I touched it or clicked it on there. Again, this capability is really defined to. I meant to say one more thing about this. These section actions are saved as part of your set. They're not saved as part of your song. The reason why is because the song can move between different copies of Worshipsong Band and do different things, but the set is always the MIDI and all this automation would be something that you would want to set up for like your church. So if you were using the same song in 3 different setups in your church, this stuff could be on the set on those different setups, and the song can go between all 3. The save to master button basically lets you save that automation to what we call the master set list. So if you set all this up in a set and you have that song the way you want it, you can hit save to master here. When you do that, that's going to be saved, and then the next time you load Build My Life into your set, all that automation is going to be there for you. So it's basically a way to save your work when you set up a song and reload it. And this load from master basically loads whatever was in that master set list back. So that's just a handy way to manage, to get your library set up with all the automation, and then to reuse it every time you build up a set. And so that's our automation. And so far we've had beta testers who've been able to automate Proclaim, automate ProPresenter, and automate some DMX lighting software. The Proclaim setup is this guy here. So in Proclaim you can basically set up MIDI to trigger one of about 8 or 9 name sections: verse, chorus, verse 2, bridge, tag, and so on. And so the way that our automation works in Worshipsong Band is that at the beginning of the section here, we send the MIDI for the verse, and then it lets you send a command to advance to the next slide. So whenever we jump to verse, we jump to the verse section that's set up in Proclaim. And then if we want to do a lyric break because we wanted to have not that all those lyrics on one slide, we send an advance command, as many beats in as we want to advance the slide. It lets you basically get it right in there so that the slides advance whenever you want them to every time. And this particular installation is using a loopback MIDI driver that basically just sets up a virtual MIDI cable between Worshipsong Band and Proclaim. And you can actually run Proclaim and Worshipsong Band on one machine and do just fine. You don't have to have multiple machines. You don't have to have a Mac or anything like that. You can do all of this on one machine really easily and have good performance with it. And the similar would be on a Mac. With ProPresenter, I don't know how heavy ProPresenter is from a performance perspective. That may not be possible, but MIDI can go across the network on Macs anyway, and people do that all the time with Ableton and other things. So this will work exactly like that in terms of how the MIDI transport. There's nothing different here in Worshipsong Band from any other MIDI transport that you're used to doing with any of your other programs. So anyway, good luck automating with Worshipsong Band. This is free, just like it always has been. It's our hope that this would help smaller churches be able to enable a higher level of automation when they don't have the ability to get volunteers and so on. And so that's why we're offering this new capability and hoping that you're able to use it to do those things.